I'm talking about the advice that we're being inundated with, that if we're going to interact with people, or that if we're going to go out in public, and this could be a potential long-term behavior, is that we need to protect our face, we need to wear a mask. All right, now again, there are contexts where this is appropriate, but widespread dissemination of information like that, there's another side to the story I got to share with you, because here's the fact. The CDC acknowledged that everyone wearing face masks is actually unlikely to be very effective. They've already stated this. So why are we doing it? Well, psychotherapist Amy Morin explains that wearing the mask does more for our mental health than it does for our physical well-being, by soothing our anxiety and giving us the illusion of being in control. Now, that's what it really boils down to. When we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about our perception of reality and what we want to do to create more certainty, because anxiety is tied to uncertainty, is to do the things that we can do. We have power over our thinking, we have power over our actions, but it's how we're responding to the things happening around us. The things that you do have control over is your thoughts and your perspective. That's about it. All right. And of course, your correlating actions. And so, with that said, specifically, experts have said that there is little evidence to suggest covering one's face with a scarf, bandana, or other material will offer protection from the coronavirus. A recent report noted that while cloth coverings might prevent some secretions from being passed on to other people, they might also make people more likely to touch their faces because they're adjusting the bandana with their nasty hands. They could also engender, and this is according to this report, a quote, false sense of security. What most people don't seem to understand about the mask thing is that it's not to protect you from the world and people outside of you. It's to protect the people outside of you from you. That's what masks are really for, is to keep the sickness in, not to prevent from getting in to you. Even the very best masks do not eliminate all of the pathogens that are able to make their way through. You still have to breathe. You still have to breathe. And these like ragtag, ones that we're doing, putting a bandana on, it's again, this was about preventing, if you're coughing or sneezing, this is not preventing other things from getting in to your stratosphere inside of your body. So you doing the bandito thing, shout out to Narcos. But doing that whole banditos thing, I don't know, because this is the biggest thing I want to share with you guys. A new study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that the brain immediately determines how trustworthy a face is. We instantly do this when we're in contact with other people, which supports the fact that we make very fast judgments about people. Now, the researchers noted that our brains are specialized for recognizing faces. We identify each other by our faces, not our elbows or our hands or just our eyes, our entire face and the expressions that we give. And a person's face provides a wealth of information, according to this study. Within seconds of seeing a person's face, we immediately know so much about him or her, including age, gender, their level of ability, whether or not they're dealing with something, ethnicity, etc., and fairly accurate assessments in economic status, emotional state, and overall health when we can see somebody's face. Now we can't see people's faces. Guess what that does to our brain that is programmed, hardwired through billions of years of evolution to see faces, to assess threats. Now we can't see faces? Does the anxiety go up or down? I'm asking you. It goes up, absolutely. And looking deeper into this, why are masks so menacing? Well, it really has to do with the fear of the unknown. This is a huge player in how we evolved. The fear of the unknown is a major player in our psychology. All the best scary situations, people got masks on. All right, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Bozo the Clown. Oh, maybe that's just me. Sorry, Bozo freaked me out. Totally freaked me out. Anyways, but that is a thing when you can't see somebody's face. All right. Now, and also when you're taking into context, well, these are like a medical, what about that's scary. Surgery. You're going into surgery. This is a life-threatening situation, right? There's going to be fear attached to all kinds of different masks that we wear. But now we see it everywhere in all the primal programming, and not being able to actually assess a threat or to see a person's face. It can really, and what the data shows is that this is going to stimulate, hyperstimulate our sympathetic fight or flight nervous system all the time, everywhere. Social contagion. Should we be doing this to protect ourselves right now? In some aspects, it's appropriate. But being inundated with this idea that all of us need to be walking around in masks like we're in the freaking purge, we have to think about the bigger psychological and health aspects that that's going to carry, right? If this, then what? If we're protecting from this, then what happens with this thing? This is all I want us to do, is just ask questions and to have a broader perspective, to have sound mind. We need sound mind. We need competency right now more than ever. All right? Is it appropriate? We have to understand what the mask is doing. By the way, if you got a beard, your mask doesn't work already. You can't even have a beard. All right? Stuff's getting in. But it's more so, again, to keep stuff from you away from other people. All right? It's not about keeping stuff out. But this is what most people think, is that the mask is protecting them. And it simply doesn't work like that. As a matter of fact, a mask can just be a resort for pathogens to just sit on and in. All right. It's definitely going to be nasty inside of there because if you're sick, especially, it's going to be nasty in there. But even if you're just not sick and it's going to be gross. But pathogens can just come and sit like a resort on the top of that mask. And guess what's by the mask that isn't covered by the mask? Your eyes. Your eyes. You can be infected by pathogens through those beautiful eyes of yours, all right? But we don't really think about that. And we don't realize, again, that pathogens can just sit on top of this mask and, jump off the springboard into your eyes. The CDC says that surgical masks won't stop the wearer from inhaling small airborne particles, which can cause infection. And the CDC recommends surgical masks only for people who already show signs of coronavirus and must go outside, since wearing a mask can help prevent spreading the virus by protecting others from you when you cough or sneeze. Plus, viruses, bacteria, and fungi still have access to the human eyes. And one study from China suggests that up to 1/3 of the people hospitalized with coronavirus experience eye problems, such as viral pink eye. So what are we going to do? We're going to wear masks and goggles? We're going to do Horace Grant? James Worthy? We're going to scuba Steve it out here on the streets? We have to we want to be smart, but don't take this to a level of ridiculousness. That's all I'm saying, because we're better than this. We're better than our behavior. But we have to keep in mind there's a social contagion and the herd mentality. If you're the only one who doesn't have a mask on and you're, out at Walmart or whatever, or I don't know what's open right now, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, I should be wearing a mask, But again, this might be appropriate in some acute instances, but living our lives this way can be very dangerous. And one other tiny aspect that I want us to acknowledge, because this episode is about addressing the anxiety, stress, and what are some components that we can do to improve our health and to operate in a more intelligent fashion in this situation that we're all experiencing. When we're talking about anxiety, you have to know this. Research conducted by the CDC and published in the Annals of Work Exposure and Health stated that by wearing a mask, the highly thermosensitive nature of the human face and breathing pathways can be inhibited, leading to increased anxiety, elevated stress hormones, false suffocation alarm in the central nervous system, and panic attacks. If this, then what? If we do this, then what? If we're already prone to anxiety and we're getting this false suffocation response, it's inhibiting our breathing because we think that this is going to protect us. We need to have a balanced perspective in this. That's all I want us to do. Not saying that a mask cannot be helpful, especially if you're sick, because it's really about keeping your sickness away from other people, not keeping other people's sickness away from you, because it does not work that well. The CDC has acknowledged, I'll say it again, that everyone wearing face masks, this is directly from the CDC, is unlikely to be very effective. They're giving us little candies. They're giving us little treats. Wear a mask. Stay away from people. What actually protects us? It's having a healthy immune system. It's taking care of our bodies. It's optimizing our sleep. our relationships, having a healthy microbiome. These are all things that are proven by facts. These are not just, hey, try this thing. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Stay away from people. We're guessing. Let's get our society healthy. Let's get our society healthy. Let's take care of each other.